Wow.
And this is New Ulm, Minnesota, which does have a very nice hospital. However, they were unprepared for what I had brought to them.
And now, coming to you from the K2 Studios in San Diego, California, it's the world-famous Chris and Christine Show.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? How you doing today? I am Chris.
And I'm Christine, and welcome to episode 43 of the Chris and Christine Show.
Yes, number 43. That is fantastic, Christine. Thank you for joining us today on this lovely Saturday.
Yes, Saturday of Father's Day weekend. So by the time you all are listening, it will be actual Father's Day. So Chris, happy Father's Day.
Thank you. I'm a father. You know, the first time I became a father, it was very nervous and nerve-wracking, and I was so excited. Had all this excitement when we rushed Jacob's mom to the hospital to deliver the baby, Jacob. I was so nervous. I didn't sleep, and I was pacing, and
I hope you wouldn't sleep at the hospital while she's in labor.
Well, I did fall asleep during that point, but I was like, I'm gonna take a nap. You guys got this, right? I'm taking a nap. Let me know when it's all done. No, I was there, and I actually cut the umbilical cord too. I did all that. Everybody was there. I had two cameras going before we had iPhones that really took good video and stuff. I had this old camera thing I had, and then I had my other phone, and then I had another camera. So I had three devices. I'm trying to hold them all and film the delivery and be there and cut the cord, and then I tossed the phone to my mom or someone. Hey, can you film this? So she filmed me cutting the cord.
She was in the delivery room?
Yeah,
when Jacob was born?
Yeah, she was there.
What?
I don't know if my dad was there or not. I don't remember.
In the room when he came out?
I believe so. And what was weird is that when they had the delivery, it was natural birth for my oldest. And when he came out, the flooring of the room we're in wasn't carpeted or tiled. It was this wood flooring. And I always thought if the nurse or whoever delivered the baby dropped, it would there was no table. It was
of course not
open. So I thought if they dropped the baby, he would hit the floor.
No,
and get a head.
Drop the baby when he's born.
It's all slimy when it comes out.
Okay.
Right? So I thought that she was gonna drop Jacob as he came out, but she caught him, and then did the whole wrapping it up and all that fun, and cut the cord, and then instantly after Jacob was born, they wrapped him up, put him on his mom's chest, did the mother thing, and the very first thing Jacob did was pee on her. So there you go.
That's classic.
That's my Father's Day tale of today.
I love that. I love your stories. I think that I get to learn these along the way because, part of us only being together for the past 2 years is I came into your life after you were a well-established father. And so a lot of those memories that you've had of previous Father's Days and things like that, I get kind of sad that I didn't get to share those with you, but I love it when you tell me stories like that. So I would love to ask you one more.
Yeah, what's up?
What has been your favorite Father's Day memory, if you have one?
Gee, I don't know. Probably last Father's Day. Didn't you get the boys had me make? Was that sign? Was that Father's Day? The last sign on the wall? Is that Father's Day gift or birthday gift?
That was the first Father's Day that.
Well, that's the one I like.
Dating.
Then that's the one I like. Is that the? Are you sure?
Wait, it was your birthday.
Oh, then never mind. Never mind that, people. It was my birthday one, but
okay. Well, I have to tell everybody what it is that we're referencing. So, Chris and I had been dating for 4 or 5 months, and his birthday was coming around. And buying for birthdays when you're in a dating relationship, when you're not engaged yet, it's always one of those things. What do I get them?
Well, I always struggle with that, even now.
Right. So I was like, well, I'm going to help the boys get something and do something meaningful. And so we went to Michael's, the craft store, and we got this thing. It looks like a portion of a wooden pallet. So it has the wooden strips, and there's some braces on the back. There's 5 little strips of wood and a little twine hanging thing. But then we got letters that says, "You are awesome, Dad." And the boys painted them in different colors, and then they put their handprints on it. We'll put a picture up on Instagram after this releases. That would be a great thing for Father's Day.
It would be a great Father's Day post. Now I think about it. You post it on Instagram saying Happy Father's Day and post that picture. And that would be great.
Yeah, I have some of the cutest pictures of them making that for you in my apartment.
Well, let's put those up too.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I have some really funny ones. Their hands are covered with blue paint, and they're acting like rock stars because I took took them with me for a couple hours one day when you had to work. And so that was a real fun memory. But so that was your favorite memory of something they gifted you, but not necessarily Father's Day, right?
Well, I can recall any Father's Day in particular. Are you pointing at something I should know about?
No, I was just asking. I just like to hear memories. Love hearing stories, and I love it when people tell me stories of like different things that have made a difference in their life. So I was just asking if there was anything that you wanted to share, but that's okay.
Well, I do remember also when my second kid was born, when Mason was born, he was done via C-section, so I didn't get to see him come out like the other, like Jacob. But when they did pull him out, I was the very first person, other than the nurse wrapping him up, that actually held Mason, and I held him and everything when he was a little baby. The first person in of the family, to hold him. So Father's Day, double deuce. I was there at both deliveries, and I held both the kids.
Yeah, he would have been like 1 month old on that Father's Day following his birth, right? Because he was born in May. And
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so he was tiny baby.
Yeah, Father's Day is tomorrow, by the way.
Well, by the time you hear this, it's today, but yes.
Yeah, be that Saturday. So, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there in radio podcast land.
Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to Ezekiel's dad, if he's listening. Don't know if he does, but I think that especially after you've gone through a divorce, it's really important that you still show your children and make an effort to celebrate the other parent, even if you aren't physically together. And so that's one thing that I continue to do is help Zeke shop for a gift. Now, the dilemma this year is Zeke hasn't been down here for 3 weeks, so we didn't get to shop ahead of time. So when he comes down on Monday night, we're going to do some online shopping and send his dad a slightly belated Father's Day gift. But I wanted Zeke to pick it instead of me just like randomly shopping for a gift card and just, sending it and being like, here you go, happy Father's Day. I think that having the kids involved is really important.
That is very important. And today, when my kids came over to the house today, their mom had got me a Father's Day. Well, they say it's from them, but really, she probably paid for it. It's a couple gift cards to some restaurants.
That was super nice of her. Shout out to Shannon.
Oh, yes.
Way to rock it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, we got you a gift also. I can't wait for you to see what it is tomorrow. Actually, a big gift and a small gift. And one of them...
don't spoil it. I want to find what it is.
I know, but one of them just got delivered. I was thinking it wasn't going to make it in time.
It got delivered today?
Yeah, it got delivered today.
Did I see that? Was it like a delivery?
It's while we've been up here. I just got a notification.
Oh, so it's downstairs at
the front door.
Also, speaking of what you parked by the front door.
Mm-hmm. What, Chris?
Well,
don't give away my good news. You can ask me about it.
Okay, Christine.
Yes.
What did we do yesterday? Or actually, I'm sorry. What did you decide to do yesterday? Not me, but you.
What did I do? Okay, so let me tell you the story. I've been thinking about getting a family-friendly car because I have, as my dad likes to call it, a sardine can.
A sardine can?
I drove a convertible Camaro, and
Chantilly.
Chantilly.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Convertible Camaro, white.
Yeah. So what happened was about 2.5 years ago, I needed to get a new car. My previous SUV, it was older and it was about to start having to have some big repairs that needed to be done. And so I traded it in and I got Chantilly. It was already paid off, so I got some good credit on the car. And then I drove Chantilly for 2.5 years, and she's been great. But we now have a family of 5, and my car has only 4 seats, and the back seat is really small. So
yeah, it's only a 4-seater, you said?
Right. So when we went the weekend to go look at your truck, I think we mentioned on this podcast 2 episodes ago that we went to one dealership to look at the Tellurides, and they weren't producing them. Well, I decided on Friday, because I was on a vacation day, to go over to the Toyota dealership because they had this deal. They were flashing it saying they'll buy back your old car. And I needed to trade in my Camaro if I wanted to get a new one. And so I went and I talked to the guy. It drives me nuts, Chris, when I go on these lots and they treat me like I'm a dingbat.
Like, this is where the gas goes, sweetie. Oh, by the way, you sit in here.
Oh, seriously. This one salesman at the Toyota dealership, he was like that. And I was asking him questions. And, you and I had looked at what I wanted to go look at in person. We discussed like what SUV would fit our family. So I told him, and I'm looking, and I asked him, does the third row actually lay flat? And he's like, yeah. And I said, does it lay completely flat? And he says, yes. Well, he drops it down. And I said, oh, there's a slight angle to it. And he goes, well, I guess, I mean, if you wanted to get out a protractor.
Oh, kind of rude like
and
that.
I was
huh?
like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm looking at a, 5-figure investment of a vehicle and you're being a jerk to me. All right. So I ended up leaving. I was respectful. I always am. And I was like, I called Chris and he was home because one of the boys had gotten hurt riding the bicycle. And so he had to go take care of that with one of the kiddos. And so I called him on my way over to the Ford dealership. And I was like, I think that I'm just going to go to the Ford dealership and I'm going to go see Reagan, the one that, helped you purchase your truck. And I'll just see if he's working and see if they have any deals. And I'm not going to buy anything today. That's what I said.
Everybody says that when they go looking at cars, and next thing you know, they got the new car. It's a new car fever. It's like a fever, Well,
what happened for me was I needed to figure out a way to get somebody to take over the loan that I had on my Camaro without being upside down. That's what I wanted to get at, and I wanted to minimize my overhead. And so, anyways, not going to get into all the details, but El Cajon Ford yet again came through for us and worked a sweet deal. And I brought home my brand new, beautiful 2020 ruby red Ford Explorer.
Woohoo! Fantastic.
Yeah. Now, I'm not like Chris. I'm not like a bells and whistles kind of girl.
Well, the car's got some bells and whistles to it.
Hey. Let me tell my story, buddy.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Mr. Ford Roush.
Go right. Oh, okay. Go right ahead.
I got a reasonable model, and it's not super fancy. It is a beautiful car, but it fits my needs. But more than anything, it's practical, and I'm going to get better fuel efficiency, and it's less to insure overall. And let's be real, I have kind of outgrown the Camaro. I'm sad to say.
And I love the Camaro,
I love her too.
I loved her. I loved the top down. We should have done it one last time.
I know,
but. How many times did we actually use the Camaro for the Camaro like convertible stuff? Not a whole lot.
You didn't always go with me, honey. That's what I would do when I was really stressed out in the evenings. I would put the top down and I'd drive out to the beach and I would just like blast my music. And, she was a really important vehicle for me during an important season of life. It was like my first purchase all by myself as a single girl. And I was so excited when I could walk into the dealership, kind of like we talked about with you, walk into the dealership, qualify for everything on my own, no co-signer, coming out of a really messy divorce, getting my credit back on track. So it was like a very symbolic investment for me, but I knew at some point in time that she wouldn't be my forever car. And I just was, I'd prayed about it and thinking about I needed to get a different car. It wasn't urgent. We got the truck, but, I'm going to have Zeke down here for a month plus the boys. We're going to start doing some summer travel stuff. And while we could take the truck, I really was desiring, maybe it's like nesting. I wanted something for the family.
It's like when you go from your small apartment or whatever to buying your first real house.
Right.
And you think about the rooms you might need. I might need 4 rooms or 2, instead of buying a 2-bedroom, you think 3 or 4 bedroom. And because you might need this or that or a yard or whatever. So bravo, babe.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm not saying this to brag, and I know that it could come across as that. We know that there are so many families that are going through so many very challenging things right now. And this isn't to diminish that or to be flashy in front of others. We know that our circumstances are unique. But I think that when good things happen for one another, it's really important that we do still celebrate those good things, especially coming through a really hard couple of months for our entire country emotionally. I found that when other people share their good news, it gives me more optimism and hope. We're turning a corner. Can't you feel that?
Oh yeah, totally. I totally agree.
Yeah. And I think that really connects with what we are going to be talking about today. We have a fantastic guest with us today who really is going to share with us about the importance of gratitude through something that was a really life-threatening situation. And we're going to be right back with our special guest after this.
Hey there, K2 crew. We love having you as our loyal listeners.
To keep up to date with what's happening behind the scenes, check us out on social media.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter.
And don't forget to follow our Facebook page.
Yeah, tag us in your favorite fun stories, and guess what? You might just end up on the show. Hey, everybody. everybody. Welcome back. And today, our very special guest happens to be a public speaker, a teacher, and also a fellow podcaster, and has a very unique story. Please welcome to the show, Chris Gordon.
Oh, well, thanks. Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate the applause.
Hey, no problem, Chris. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing very well. How are you two Chris's doing?
We're doing great. Yeah, it's the Chris, and Christine show for today. That's pretty fun.
Yes. That's fantastic. So, hey, Chris, where in the world are you coming to us from today?
I live in New Ulm, Minnesota.
New Ulm, Minnesota. So I have a couple of experiences in Minnesota. I've been to the Twin Cities. That's where I normally fly in to see my sister. And I've been to Rochester and Eden Prairie. So where do you live in proximity to those places?
I am 2 hours southwest of the Twin Cities and about 2 hours west of Rochester.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I gotcha. Now, are you guys starting to see the turnaround for the weather? Is it starting to become more summer-like, or are you still hanging on to the winter?
Oh, no. It's very beautiful. Today, my kids and I rode to the local brewery to feed the deer.
Your kids did? To the brewery?
Yes. That's the funny thing about New Ulm. It has two number twos. There's the second oldest family-owned brewery in the United States called Shell's Brewery.
Okay.
And it started in 1860. And the second tallest copper statue in the country, which is the Hermann the German statue.
So is it like a German town?
It is so German. Yeah, it's when I moved here in 2002, I had been to Germany earlier that year, and then when I went to visit my then girlfriend, now wife, I was in town for maybe 10 seconds, and I thought, yeah, this is German. It was settled by German immigrants in 1854, and then a couple years later the brewery opened. But yeah, it's very German. It's much of the tourism is based on the German heritage.
So is like Oktoberfest like a big thing over there?
It is. And there's also another festival called Bachfest, which happens on the first Saturday of March.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if you want to imagine 6,000 Germans drinking outside, listening to polka music, that's basically it.
Okay, so I can totally relate to that. I grew up in Central California in a Swedish town. And so there's something very unique to towns that have like a very rich cultural heritage. Like my town was settled by Swedish settlers. There's the Swedish festival with like dancing around the maypole. So I totally can relate to what you're talking about with like it becoming a tourist attraction and these really, I don't want to call them obscure festivals, but something that's really fun and a rich experience for kids.
Yes, indeed. In fact, before I moved to Minnesota, I lived in Michigan, and there's a town in Michigan called Frankenmuth, which is 15 miles north of where I grew up. And I actually worked in Frankenmuth, but Frankenmuth compared to New Ulm is like a Disney-fied version of Germany. I bartended in Lederhosen, to give you a
is that now you're speaking all these German terms. It sounds very German. Very German.
Yes.
Well, the Lederhosen, those are the shorts with like the front suspender looking things, right?
The German short, the leather shorts with suspenders. Yes.
It reminds me of the episode of the National Lampoon's European Vacation when they're like stopping, they're like wearing the Lederhosen. That's hilarious.
Yes, it totally does. So hey, Chris, being there, you live out there. What do you do for work out there? What do you do?
I am actually, and this is going to sound weird, a traditional online teacher. I know that a lot of teachers, my wife included, are now teaching remotely because of the pandemic, but I've been teaching online for 8 years.
Really?
Yes.
What grade or what who do you teach?
Middle school special education.
Oh, wow. So that's like a very unique approach to doing that online. I can see how you've had to figure out quite a bit. I mean, before all of this recent distance learning, but you've probably walked through all the challenges everybody else is facing years ago.
Yes. In fact, the hardest challenge for me this last few months has been having everyone at home when I'm trying to work.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm off during the day and Christina's here working from home in her office now. So, I know what that's like. It's,
Yeah, so it's very advantageous for my family because I used to teach in a town 50 miles away, and that was when we had one child. And now when we were having twins, we figured that wasn't going to work.
So you have twins?
Yes, we have an 11-year-old and 8-year-old twins.
Wait, 2 sets of twins?
No, a single 11-year-old.
Okay, got it.
8-year-old twins.
I thought you were saying you had 11-year-old twins and 8-year-old twins.
Are they identical twins?
They're fraternal, one boy and one girl.
Oh, wow.
That's fun.
Okay. Now, when they have fraternal twins, are they still kind of similar? I mean, I don't know how this works, but I know identical twins look the same. But when fraternal twins, how are they? I mean, compared to I don't know.
Well, let's put it this way: when they were in kindergarten, one day for morning meeting, they were going around and talking about themselves, and it happened to be last names. And so my son Seth said, "Oh, my name's Seth Gordon," and then my daughter says, "Oh, I'm Anna Gordon." And one of the kids turned and said, "You guys are related?"
Really?
They had no idea. Yeah, they are very different.
Wow, and they're twins. Crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, it's like, Chris, sorry, not Chris Gordon. It's like having 2 completely different children just at the same time. I mean, they have their own unique identities.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you always hear stories of like twins, like one twin breaks their leg and the other one feels it.
Oh, yeah.
Things like that. Is that true? Is that a true thing?
There is a phenomenon that I've heard about that's similar to that, yes. But one hurts themselves, the other one looks and says, "What are you whining about?"
That sounds like our relationship here, but we're not twins. So, well, we are excited to have you on the show, and thanks for sharing a little bit of your background. But you and I met through an online group on Facebook, and I was really drawn to your story because it's very unique. You've had something pretty significant happen in your life over the last couple of years, and would you mind telling us about that experience?
Certainly. In March 2015, I scratched my right hand on my garage wall. Now, I know what you're thinking. How traumatic. But wait, there's more. 3 days later, after I scratched my hand, I woke up and to discover I had a huge bump on my right elbow. I went into, and this was on a Saturday, so I went into the walk-in clinic. The attending doctor said, "Well, it looks like bursitis, maybe cellulitis. Why don't you go home, check on it, and if anything develops, let us know." Well, 8 o'clock comes around, and I have an arm which is now triple the size of my left arm. My right arm is ginormous.
Wow.
Like swollen?
Yes. Basically, the infection, where the bump had grown through my arm, my shoulder, and then my chest and my back.
Oh my gosh.
Throughout the day, I basically looked like the Incredible Hulk in mid-transformation.
Okay.
No.
Yes, indeed.
Was your skin green?
A little bit was.
Oh, wow.
And ironically, I was wearing purple pants.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
There you go.
But wait, you said a scratch, like just like a nail, like you scratched it on a nail,
Or a stud
or
in the
like
garage or something?
like-
maybe?
On my garage wall, on my outdoor garage wall, I was flying my one of the twins, who was 2 at the time. I was flying him to the van because I was helping my wife get the kids and her out the door for the day. And I went too close to the wall, scratched my hand, and then I put them in the van. They took off. I went back in the house. I cleaned the wound as well as I thought. I thought I had cleaned it well.
So was it bleeding or anything?
A little bit, but not too bad.
oh wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't like gushing blood or anything. So I cleaned it and went on with my day.
Okay, so sorry, I had to backtrack to that because I was just stuck on that for a minute. So fast forward, 8 p.m. at night, arm is triple the size. You look like Hulk.
And your body's swollen too, you said.
Yep. My right side, the right side of my torso was swollen with the infection, and so my wife and I called one of her coworkers who brought her son to watch our kids. Our kids are sleeping at that time, and then my wife took me to the emergency room. And when they admitted me, they could not get a proper blood pressure reading on me because I had gone septic.
Oh my gosh.
What does that mean? What does that even mean?
Sepsis is, in layman's terms, an overreaction of the body when it has an infection. It pumps a chemical into the blood stream that is supposed to fight off the infection, but it also becomes toxic.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so-
It's super dangerous. It's actually my grandmother passed away from sepsis. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
I know how dangerous it is. So it's like you go from having a scratch on the back of your hand to several hours later, like life threatening illness, right?
Yes.
Wow.
And this is New Ulm, Minnesota, which does have a very nice hospital. However, they were unprepared for what I had brought to them. And so they kept me overnight. And in the morning, the attending doctor at that time told us as much and asked me where I wanted to go. And without hesitation, I said Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. Best in the world.
Why there? Why there?
Because it's the Mayo Clinic. It's one of the best hospitals in the world. And also, my in-laws live in Rochester. And actually, at the time, my father-in-law was a chaplain at the hospital.
So you're already familiar with that hospital in that neighborhood, you're saying?
So already familiar with Rochester. So they strapped me literally into a hard light plane. I was on a gurney. They had to strap me to the inside of the plane, not the outside. That'd be very windy.
An actual airplane?
Yeah, an airplane. They took me to a municipal airport here in town, and they strapped me in, and they flew me 20 minutes to Rochester.
Mm-hmm.
And then they admitted me. They drove me from the airport to the hospital and got me set up for surgery. While my wife and kids were driving from New Ulm to Rochester with packed bags for only a few days, because surely this would only take a couple of days.
Right.
Now, how long of a drive is that from there?
It's about 1 hour, 45 minutes.
Okay.
Wow. So, okay, you've gone from day before, just typical day, loading up the kids in the car, to now fighting for your life and being life flighted basically to a completely different city, to one of the best hospital complexes in the world for this treatment. At this point, did you have a diagnosis beyond sepsis?
No, I did not. We did not know exactly what was going on until right before I'd gone into the surgery. They had given me some pain medication, which had really sent me on a crazy trip. And the last thing I remember before going into surgery was I was in my wheelchair, my head was listing, and the operating surgeon was trying to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I seemed to be cracking jokes and just having this, let's do it, let's roll the dice.
Did they
Let's
give you
go
any kind of
after it.
pain meds or something?
Yes. One of them was called ketamine, and to quote Happy Gilmore, it's the devil, mama.
Really?
It does a really good job of taking away the pain, but also gave me awful hallucinations.
Oh, wow. So you're
Wow.
on a trip then.
Yes, and so I barely remember talking to the surgeon, and I had a very optimistic, let's go get him attitude, which he wasn't really used to coming from patients in my setting. They usually are more worried, usually crying, usually scared for their lives, and I was quite the opposite.
Well, but to your defense, you didn't know exactly what you were dealing with other than your arm is really swollen, you had a
Right.
really bad cut, and you have sepsis, and you're having surgery for, did you even know what it was for?
No, I can't remember if he told me during that time. I definitely learned afterwards, though.
Right.
Now, did they ever knock you out at this point?
Yes, I was in a coma for almost 5 days.
What?
Was that medically induced, or that happened on its own?
That was medically induced for the surgeries.
Yeah.
No, wait, you just said surgeries, plural. So you didn't just have one.
No. They first had to go in and take away all of the infected tissue. Basically, they filleted me like a fish.
Oh, wow.
All the way from the back of my hand up to the base of my neck.
Ugh. Ow.
And as my wife would later tell me, they were measuring the extent of the infection with a marker, and by the time that the infection reached my neck and they had drawn that line at the base of my neck, my wife left the room.
Oh, my
That
goodness.
was too much for her.
Yeah, I would be too. Wow. So backtrack a little bit. When they say infection, at that point, did they diagnose what it really was?
Yes, they knew it was necrotizing fasciitis,
Which means
flesh-eating bacteria.
What? From your garage?
From my garage wall. It's a group A strep, which is short for streptococcus. And the strand I had was called Streptococcus pyogenes.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. And so my strep had been around our family for the past couple weeks. And so that's basically what caused this.
Like strep throat?
Yes.
Just a different strain?
Yes.
but what's it doing on your garage door?
Just hanging out, waiting for someone to scratch their stupid hand on it.
Oh my gosh. Because, viruses and illnesses, they can live on surfaces. We know that based off of what we've lived through in America over the last several months. But
Wow, because I hear about this virus. I always thought it happened in like swamps or like
the necrotizing fasciitis?
Yeah, like in creeks,
Yeah.
things like that. That's why I
Right.
hear
That's what we've heard on the news before, is like people swimming in like some
filthy pond somewhere.
or some pond like in some remote rainforest, and now they have either a parasite or like flesh-eating bacteria, but you were literally
at home.
grazed yourself on the wall of the garage.
Yes. And this is still in winter in Minnesota. So very much the opposite of what you're
Oh.
describing.
So, but doesn't the viruses last longer in the cold? At least,
I don't know.
Some of them tend to, yes.
yeah.
And so that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
So you go in for surgery, they clean everything out. And then what's your recovery like from this?
I do have to backtrack a little bit. After the first surgery, they found that the infection had had gone into my right arm, my right hand, particularly a little farther than the other areas of my body, and they were about to amputate my right arm
Oh my gosh.
because it had gone in so far. However, the occupational therapist who was in attendance saw that I still had hand function. So they elected to remove a 15-inch by 4-inch flap of skin from my left thigh.
Oh, wow.
And they replaced, and because I also had an artery running through it. And so they put that on the back of my hand and forearm. And so that part of skin I now call my thand, because it's my thigh on my hand.
Wow.
However, since they took that flap of skin off my hand, I now had off my leg. I now have a big gaping hole in my leg, and I am a runner.
Oh,
So
no.
I have rather strong and big thighs. They could not close the wound properly, so they had to take out my one of my quad muscles.
Oh my gosh.
my vastus lateralis. So basically, instead of a quad, I have a tri.
Oh,
In
wow.
my left arm, my left leg.
So did they like do a skin graft on top of that area to close it up, or how did they on your thigh? How did they repair that? Because that's a really big chunk.
Yes, they had to insert what's called a Jacob's ladder, which is basically like fancy shoestrings, shoelaces, and then they inserted a pair of knobs on one knob on each side of the wound. And so every so often they'd come in and tighten the Jacob's ladder to help my leg heal.
Okay, Chris is squirming over here.
Well, you know, it's funny. It's funny you say that, Chris, because not that long ago, I went to the doctor for something very similar. Do you remember this, Christine?
It was not flesh-eating bacteria.
No.
Don't minimize the man's experience.
I'm not, but
it was cellulitis.
What was it called?
It was cellulitis.
No, it was a bug. I thought it was a black widow bite.
It was a black widow bite,
Or
but
something. I didn't
because
know
it
what it was.
wasn't tended to right away, it turned into cellulitis, and so they had to draw the circle around the bite, inject the medicine into it. He had to track it. It was a nasty bite, and it was starting to spread.
It was kind of like you said. It bumped up, like you said. And my arm
it
kind of
did.
swelled. My arm started to swell, just like that, like you said. Now I'm thinking about you told me, like, gosh, kind of scary. It could have been the same thing, but it got, I don't know.
Well, yours was a black widow bite,
we don't know for sure, but
but not flesh-eating bacteria, honey.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
There are necrotizing spider bites, so I mean,
Don't tell him that. He's sitting over here scratching his arms, and we don't mean to minimize your experience because this sounds super, super traumatic. Now, let's fast forward. So you went through these surgeries. You have definitely not just a 2 or a 3 day recovery due to the fact that you're in a medically induced coma for several days. Your family's there. How long did you end up staying in Mayo?
I was in Mayo for 65 days.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. And what does in Mayo mean?
Mayo,
for us, I don't know.
Yeah, I was in Mayo Clinic in the hospital.
Oh, okay.
For 65 days. The first couple weeks I was in an ICU room, and then they moved me to a lower level a hospital room for the majority of my stay.
Wow. And then I'm guessing after you were discharged, then you had the uphill battle of therapy to get your hand and your leg back in order. Was that extensive?
Yeah. Well, I guess I spent 3 weeks in home therapy, which meant that every day a nurse would come and dress my wounds because after my coma, after I woke from my coma, I still had other surgeries. I had to have various skin graft harvesting surgeries. And they took skin grafts from my thighs and my back. And so they used a souped up cheese grater to take skin off of my legs and my back to place onto my the places where they debrided the skin.
Oh, wow.
Did they put painkiller with that when they do that?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah, I was feeling pretty good for a while there.
Well, I don't know about feeling pretty good after that. The cheese graters.
Well, the painkillers is what he's saying.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So I had other surgeries for the grafting, and the harvesting, and then the attachments.
Wow, this sounds like a really life-altering experience that you've endured. Not just the being diagnosed with flesh-eating bacteria, but that entire road to recovery. So, how has this experience altered your life?
I think that in many ways it's given me a stronger purpose beyond, being a good Christian, being a good husband, being a good father, being a good teacher. I've always been a public speaker in some fashion, whether it be teaching or theater. And I feel that with this experience, I have a way to inspire people to work through their own adversity and to reach for greatness on their own terms.
That sounds really powerful. Now, in this experience that you had, we know that the road to recovery can be long and arduous. After you finished the home therapy and you stopped to evaluate your life, did you struggle with anything like depression or we know that some people that have gone through it and have had to use lots of painkillers have fallen into any type of substance abuse. Did you struggle with any of those things afterwards?
On the substance abuse, I actually suffered the opposite. I was so determined to not not fall victim to substance abuse that I accidentally went cold turkey on my meds, and I almost was not discharged on my discharge date. I was supposed to be discharged on May 26th, but my body was going through withdrawal from not having painkillers that I threw up 3 times.
Oh, wow.
And they would not let me out. I was supposed to get out at 10 a.m. They wouldn't let me out till 6 p.m.
Wow.
But in terms of the PTSD, actually, I didn't suffer from that. I can't really say for certain why, but I believe a strong contributor to my recovery has been the gratitude that I felt towards everyone who stepped up to help me and my family. And I have this belief that for me to have a negative outlook on things, to ask why me, to basically have a pessimistic view on everything would be a slap in the face to everyone who's in my corner.
That's a very interesting perspective. Now, that attitude of gratitude, have you had that your entire life, or would you say that it's something that really emerged through this experience?
I think I've always had it at varying degrees, but it definitely kicked in when this situation arose.
Wow, man.
And so that's why one of my talks, I focus on this simple process that I've created, to show, not only have someone view all the great things in their lives, but also show others how much they're appreciated, and then in turn give others a chance to be gratitude for what they're given.
So you do also, because of this, did this become while you started becoming a speaker, or were you already doing public speaking before this happened?
This is primarily why I became a speaker.
Okay, so what is your message when you do speak?
I have a couple of them. One I just talked about was the attitude of gratitude. Another one is what I call passing on perfection and going for greatness.
Ooh, tell us more about that one.
Because I feel that we are so inundated with visions of perfection that when we see our own failings, our own faults, that it paralyzes us to not even try to do things. So by passing on perfection, by not worrying about being perfect and going for greatness, you can still have those moments of perfection. I think of bowlers. No bowler will ever bowl 300 every time.
Mm-hmm.
They might get it once in a while, though.
They try, though.
Yes. You don't stop trying. You never stop trying. But you can reach excellence. You can be at a level of excellence all the time. And you can occasionally reach perfection. But it's striving for that greatness, which is what everyone should do.
Well, going off of this passing on perfection, I think that that's something that hits home with me. Chris and I have frequent conversations. We both struggle with perfectionism in different aspects of our life. But for me, it can, like you said, become paralyzing, where it's like, if I can't do it right from the beginning, I just sometimes want to give up. So what would you say to an individual like me that might be struggling with that in life?
I would say first, look at the strengths that you possess and focus on those strengths. And then pick one area of weakness that you can improve on. And then I would chart that improvement over time while still maintaining those strengths. And then when you have that one area of weakness, which is now a strength, you move on to the next one. And
I like that approach. Yeah.
I wouldn't set I wouldn't set the bar to 100%. I would say maybe 80%. If you were to gauge a success rate for that weakness. But I'm not saying you can't reach 100%. But again, we want to become great and not perfect.
I like that. Yep.
Yeah,
striving for greatness. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So sometimes that perfection will happen, but by accepting that we're imperfect, it actually gives us the freedom to be great instead of being paralyzed by the perils of perfection.
Right. Now, we know that you've been a speaker, you're a teacher, but I thought that I saw something come up on social media recently about another new project that you were either just getting ready to launch or just launched recently. What is that?
Are you speaking of my podcast?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Yes. I started, I actually launched it last week. It's called Scar Bearers. And being an enormous geek, I borrowed the Star Wars style font for my podcast thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
And I focused
Wow.
on why? Because I want to invite people to, when they come on my show or listen to my show, to let their geek flag fly.
Perfect.
I'm a huge proponent of individualism. In fact, I've used my scars for cosplay, which is costume play. And in fact, 4 years ago, I went to Salt Lake City to attend a comic book convention, and I dressed up as a battle-scarred Wolverine. And I pretended to cut the hand of my best friend off and hand it to Mark Hamill.
Wow, he was there?
Yes.
Wow, do you have a picture of that? You have photos, right?
Yes, I do, in fact.
Okay, he's nerding out right now because we live in San Diego, which is obviously the place where Comic-Con typically occurs every year.
Not this year, though.
Just not this year.
Yeah.
Right, but that's really fun. You should definitely do that and come to Comic-Con.
Have you ever been down here to Comic-Con?
I have not been to San Diego Comic-Con. No, the one I was at was Salt Lake City. It was called Salt Lake Comic-Con, but now it's called FanX.
Oh, I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I've been there a couple years.
Right on.
My sister-in-law's brother though goes to Comic-Con in San Diego religiously.
Yeah, it's insane.
I've been trying to get tickets, and I cannot get tickets to San Diego Comic-Con. I've tried. I just give up. I was going to buy them on the black market, but for like quadruple the price, I don't know.
Yeah, and they take your kidney, and you still don't get in Hall H.
Right.
I know.
So Scar Bearers is your new podcast. Tell us a little bit of what it's about and why you started it.
It's about being a survivor and being proud of your scars, because your scars are evidence that you survived, that you are tougher than what tried to take you down. And so these first few episodes, I've talked about my own experience about necrotizing fasciitis,
Mm-hmm.
and dealing with having a big part of your body that can't sweat.
Oh wow.
And as a runner, you run and you build up a lot of heat in your body. Well, sweat is the main way that your body can regulate its temperature. When you have at least 30% of your body that can't do that, you have to take other precautions. Ooh. So I discussed that a little bit. I definitely delve into my geekery. The first few episodes, I've taken popular theme songs and reworded them to be Scar Bearer themed, not a bear of scars, which is visually awesome. But today, I actually conducted my first interview with a fellow survivor of necrotizing fasciitis.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
and he contracted it 2 years ago. And he's a tough little warrior. He actually lost his his right leg from the knee down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he had to have amputated because of the infection. And his left arm is scarred from it too. But he plays wheelchair basketball and he plays tennis. And so I'm really excited to share the information from that interview with my listeners.
That's awesome. It sounds like such an inspiring message. And I love that you were talking about how like your scars don't define you. And I think that that's like physical scars, as well as a lot of people carry emotional scars from trauma. And I think that that is a message that we all need to hear. And so where can our listeners find you and subscribe to your podcast?
Well, I believe I am on Spotify.
Woohoo!
And-
Awesome.
And Google Podcasts. There are a few more. I'm blanking right now. Some of them, the smaller, the lesser known podcast sites. I haven't made it to the big game yet. I'm not on Apple yet.
Once you do, it changes everything.
I've heard. That's what I've heard. But yeah, definitely Spotify and Google Podcasts are two that I definitely remember. And then you can also go to my website, which not only features the podcast and my YouTube channel. I've made some videos on YouTube, but also it shows me performing a few speaking engagements and has some more information on my speaking endeavors.
That's awesome. So, friends, you can find Scar Bearers on Google Podcasts or on Spotify, and hopefully another streaming service coming to you soon. You can also go to www.chrisdtgordon.com. You can find Chris DT Gordon on Instagram and also find him on Facebook. And Chris, thank you so much for sharing your heartfelt story of overcoming the odds with our listeners. And we wish you nothing but the best of luck with your speaking and podcasting journey to inspire the world.
Well, I greatly appreciate the opportunity to talk with you guys and to share my message.
Thanks, Chris. We appreciate having you.
Thank you. Have a great day now.
Hey guys, what's up? It's the J-Boy Show. I'm Ezekiel.
And I'm Jacob. And I'm Mason.
And don't forget to listen to our new podcast on Apple Podcasts.
And don't forget to subscribe.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
We talk about sports, motors, engines, and all kinds of stuff.
And YouTubers.
And YouTubers. So don't forget to subscribe and listen in every Sunday.
All right, and keep moving forward.
Forward.
Well, that was a very interesting and fun and informative interview.
Yeah, it was. I really liked how Chris Gordon talked about having an attitude of gratitude through his journey of his recovery from necrotizing fasciitis.
I can't even say that word. I don't even know how to say it.
I've been practicing.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, I think that his message of having hope and gratitude in the midst of really messy things is very relevant for our current time right now.
You know, and I stubbed my toe like yesterday, so I kind of totally relate.
Oh my gosh, don't get me started.
It was bleeding and everything.
Okay, the truth of the story is Chris had an absolute fit.
And
he said that he was gonna have to get his toe chopped off, and that it was gushing blood.
It was gushing blood,
and that he was gonna need to
Band-Aids.
That he was gonna need to call in sick because there was no way he was gonna be able to walk on his foot. Mind you, he was cracking up over the fact that his son had almost an identical cut on the bottom of his same exact big toe, and Chris was like, "Why are you walking funny like that?" And then it was quite an afternoon.
I tripped over the curb in flip-flops. And if y'all know what that happens, your toes are exposed.
To the gravel.
And I tripped over the curb on the pavement, and took a big chunk of my skin right off.
No, it didn't. It left a cut that was covered by one Band-Aid.
Yeah, but the Band-Aid, it bled through it and stuff. I had to change Band-Aids.
After a day to keep it fresh.
Whatever. Right. It hurt, okay?
He's like, I just want some sympathy from you. And I was like, my reservoir for sympathy is really low right now, but it's just I appreciate the message that Chris Gordon shared with us, and it was kind of fun being the Chris, and Christine show for a little bit there. And now we're going to transition into everybody's favorite time of the podcast.
Everybody's?
Yes, and it's called Sing Along Time with Chris. Sing it sweetly, all right? You getting ready? Sing it, serenade it. We got to come up with a title for this segment because we have Shout Out Central after this. So, folks, send us your little ideas of what we should call the guitar. Get it on the guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're gonna let Chris play us a little ditty that goes along with a little bit of our show today, and we'll hear from him next.
Okay, here we go. We're going to play a little song. This is Chris's little ditty from the Chris and Christine show, coming to you live. Get close to the microphone. You're way up from the microphone.
Okay. I'm just leaning back. I'm just leaning back and just soaking every moment in. All right, I'm ready. Go ahead, babe.
Okay, this one's called, I don't know what this is called, but we'll figure it out.
The Ruby Ride.
Okay.
It's Christine riding in her ruby red SUV.
Okay. By the way, everybody, no lessons on the guitar.
You can purchase the EP of this song after the show.
Okay, here we go. Well, that was a
It's
screw
kind of
up.
dark.
What
It's
means-
kind of like gothic.
Well, I'm working on it, right?
Okay.
It's a work in progress.
Happy, like a happy tune. Okay, ready, go.
All right, hang on. Christine bought a guitar. She bought a guitar today.
I bought a guitar?
I mean, a car. I can say guitar. I don't know why I keep saying that. Okay, we'll turn this off. Cut this off.
No, it's so funny. Keep going.
Are you sure?
Everybody loves it.
Okay, well, I'm trying to write a song here.
I know. Okay, ready? Compose yourself. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
I love Christine. She bought herself a
Car machine.
A car machine. It's called Ruby Red because the car's red. That's so unique for a car color.
I named her Cardi
She named her Cardi.
because
Wait,
she's a car.
You named it Cardi?
Cardi.
Cardi?
Like Cardi B, but she's a car. Dee-dee.
Well, Christy bought herself a guitar. Car for the guitar. Car. I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm playing for you.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Yes. You know, I'm quite the lucky girl. I wonder how many ladies out there get serenaded on an almost nightly, almost hourly basis by their partner in crime. I just wonder, I think that it's fantastic.
Well, you're welcome, babe. You're welcome.
So, Chris, for those that are asking and blowing up social media right now with this musical musings, this wonder of you on the guitar, they want to know when you're going to perform at your first coffee house. So I was wondering, do you have a date lined up?
Well, tomorrow morning downstairs, Father's Day, we're having coffee and serenade for you all. Live concert coming live.
Live concert streaming live from the living room with Chris. It's going to be conversation, coffee, and concert with Chris.
There you go, babe. There you
Yes,
go.
there you go.
That's fantastic.
Yes, it is fantastic. And so, Chris, what do you have next for us?
Next is our Shout Out Central, where we bring it back to you and we say thank you for listening. And by saying thank you, we actually shout out the cities that we can tell are listening to our podcast.
And the countries.
And the country.
And
Thank you.
So we started off across the pond. Our first country that we have listening, thank you, our loyal listener that is tuning in every week, and that is Spain.
Thank you, Spain. Olé. Is it ole? Olé.
Ole, we've talked about this before.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, Spain, thank you for joining us. We also have the United Kingdom.
Thank you, United Kingdom.
Awkward pause. I thought you were going to come up with something like, hello, governor.
Oh, hello, governor. Hey, Queen.
We love our friends from the UK. Also, we have our friends joining us again from Dublin, Ireland.
Dublin.
Thank you to our friends from Ireland. And Chris, I have news for you.
What's up, baby?
We had a new country this week.
New country.
Yes, taking the total to, I think, 24. And it is the country of Hong Kong.
Hey, Hong Kong.
Right. Isn't that amazing?
You know, when I was growing up, a lot of toys I'd see said made in Hong Kong. That's where I make the toys at.
Yeah,
So
Hong
when
Kong.
I was a kid, I always wanted to go there just to see the toy factory.
Right? That's amazing. So thank you to our new listener from Hong Kong, and as well as our loyal listeners in the US of A.
Thank you, America. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mirko.
America. And
All right.
Speaking of America, back here, some of the cities that listen to us this week, we have Bristol, Tennessee.
Bristol, Tennessee.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for joining.
Next, we have Montclair, New Jersey.
Woohoo.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
And going on down south, we got Riverview, Florida.
Riverview, Florida. I have never been there before.
Neither have I. I bet they're by the river, and I bet they got a view.
That would be fantastic.
If they don't,
what if
I'd
they
be
were like
mad.
in a desert?
That would be like a funny, like, ha, ha, ha.
Oxymoron, right?
Totally. Like you're tall, but you really call him shorty. And very last but not least, coming close to town here, we have the city of Vista, California.
Now you know that Vista is another word for view.
Well, there you go.
I wonder if Vista has a very nice view.
It does.
Maybe
In
like a
some
river
areas.
view?
Yeah, sure. Sure, why not? Thank you for listening, and thank you for joining us this week. It's all been very fantastic.
We hope that you have enjoyed this episode. And for all of the dads out there or those that are dads in training, thank you for all that you do. America needs more amazing men like you. Our kiddos need strong men in their lives. Hooray.
Hooray. And on that note, we will see you guys next week with an absolute fantastic episode. You're not going to want to miss it. I promise you that.
See you next week. Remember this week that life is too short to wake up in the morning with regret.
So love the people who treat you right, forget about the ones who don't, and believe that everything happens for a reason.
If you get a chance, take it. If it changes your life, let it. Nobody said that it would be easy.
They just promised it would be worth it. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Chris.
And I'm Christine, and until next week,
Keep moving forward.